Hey guys, welcome back to my Artomat adventures. I'm going to share with you my messy downstairs space leading up to the box of blocks that I received from Artomat. I did purchase these. They are a box of 50. Here are the cellophane papers that you use around each block. They're plain wood, so you do have to prep them however you want to prep them. Yeah, and I'm gonna show you what I've been working on so far. So I started with a set of 10 because I thought that was kind of a good number to get going on. So the ones on the top, I'm gonna leave black and white. The ones on the bottom, I am coloring in. And I'm using alcohol ink markers that I found at Jerry's Artorama about a month ago. I did splurge and buy the whole set because I have that Jerry's discount. If you don't have that Jerry's discount, sign up and be a club member. They are the Artfinity markers, and they do have the dual tips, which are nice. If you use that other tip. I usually only ever use the brush tip, but they have a nice flow. I love the colors. It's kind of a change from Prismacolor, getting used to the colors. And they do on the gesso get a little streaky, so I'm trying to work with that and just use that to add a little extra texture. I'm also adding some designs on the sides of the blocks, just because. On the black and white ones especially, I'm not sure what I'm going to do on the colorful ones. I don't know, that's just kind of what I was thinking I would do. So here are some of the designs I'm working on so far. I'm just going to kind of work on them gradually, bit by bit, and get them going. One issue I'm having is the gesso running over the edges. I don't usually do much with gesso. I was trying to keep it neat, but yeah, it's still kind of getting runny. So where's that one? Yeah, so this one right here, especially noticeable. So I'm going to have to get something to really be able to sand that down and make it smooth so that it fits in the machines and doesn't get stuck is the main concern. Also craftsmanship, of course. The backs I'm not worried about because the backs are going to be covered with my note cards. So I have the note cards to fit. This is the gesso that I'm using, Liquitex, which is a good brand. Nothing about the gesso, just that I don't work with it a lot. So here are the sort of the note cards that are going on the back. And I decided to just kind of go with my story about why I create this kind of drawing. And I'll touch on that a little bit later in this video. But yeah, I am going to cut these down to be completely flush with the back of the cards. I did have to make a revision on this, so that's what this is. I wanted to make sure that it was going to fit on the back of the block, all the information. So just editing that down to make sure that would work. And then these are my placards that are going to go in the machines. So I had to kind of experiment around with that. This is the one that I came up with that I really liked with the colors, etc. When I photocopied them on my copier at home, you can see how the colors faded. So I'm probably going to play around with that a little bit more. And this was just where I had to make some adjustments because my original design was too big. So, and then these are the highlighted parts for my ADHD brain. I had to highlight the parts where I needed to make slight corrections, like it was mainly just in the sizing. And then, you know, this was the email that I got. You get an email saying, yes, you've been accepted. This is where you need to make adjustments. And I had to send an email with a photo showing my adjustments, all that stuff, the prices of how much the blocks cost me. So the blocks were $29. With shipping. If you're getting boxes instead, they're $20. If you're just getting acetate strips, they're $3 if you're making your own blocks, etc. And then just some other details, and I'm going to flip you guys around and I'm gonna get into that a little bit more with you and explain, like, if this is something you want to do, what you can expect as far as how many pieces to send in and why I'm doing this thing. All right, so basically, I printed out all of these things. You get an email, everything's digital. I like to print things out because it's just easier for me to see it. But I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about, like, if this is something that you want to do. You know, I think I mentioned it in my video before. This is not something you're going to do to like make a lot of money. Okay, you're not going to get paid bank on doing this. But I think it is valuable. I think it is a good experience, and I'm going to tell you why I think so. But first things first, so let me get myself reorganized. Okay, so basically you send in your prototype and they approve your prototype, or they say these are the slight adjustments you need to make. Like I said, for me, I needed to just really make sure my measurements on my cards for the back were right, and that my little placard cards were right, so that they would fit in the machine. So this is like the card that says what you might be getting. And then they do ask for consistency. So like the prototypes I sent in were my line art. And so I can't just make a bunch of painted blocks now, because that would create chaos and confusion. So I totally understand that. They ask that you send in 50 blocks at a time once you're approved. So I'm gradually working on these things now, finally, after a couple of weeks of having them in my hot little hands. And so then you send in 50. Then you basically get to decide. So they're going to inventory your art, let you know where it's sent, all that kind of stuff. And then it says, I'm just going to read this to you. Okay, it says, how often do you expect me to send art? You may send us art on whatever schedule is comfortable for you. We have hundreds of participating artists who send us their work as frequently as twice a month to as infrequently as once or twice a year. We just want you to have fun with this and enjoy participating, so whatever frequency works for you is fine for us. We sincerely hope that you'll plan to be with us long term. With that in mind, once you have sent us at least 2 sets of 50 pieces that have sold, you're having fun participating and feel confident that you can continue to maintain the quality of your original prototype in large quantities, then you are welcome to contact us about sending 100 to 200 pieces at a time to help cut down on your shipping costs. So I like that it's not an intense kind of contract. Like, if you're loving this, great, keep doing it. If you're kind of like, okay, I've done enough of that kind of art, I'm over it, you're not committed to doing this like for the rest of eternity, right? And then it talks about, when should I expect to receive payment? And that honestly depends on where the machine is, the host sending them the money saying all of this sold, and then they can send you your payment. You only get $2.50 a block. I think I mentioned that before. So that's $2.50 a block. They only sell for $5, which begs the question, why would an artist do this, right? Like, why would you spend so much time and energy and your own money in just even getting the materials to do this? So once I did the math on this, and I bought the prototype kit, I bought the blocks that I'm working on now, and once I ship these things out, ship them back, and pay my taxes, because I am an artist, so I pay taxes on everything I sell, I'm not making much money, right? I might make enough to maybe go out and grab dinner for me and my kid, right? But I'm going to tell you why I'm doing this. And I feel like I touched on this before, but I think it's important to note. So one, it's helping me to create kind of a consistent habit again in my artwork. Like, I've done a lot of the handmade jewelry and crafty things. I've done a lot of teaching over the last few years, but I'm just now getting back to a place where I'm consistently doing artwork, and it makes me happy. So anything that I can do to kind of help create consistency in those habits, I think is great. So on that personal note on that, I think that's a good thing. Another thing for me, the reason that I chose to do the line drawings, the little line, drawings, either colored in or black and white, I realized a while back that for me, that's kind of, and I don't want to use the wrong words because I don't want it to be oversimplified, but to me, that's almost like easy art. Not really easy, but it puts me at ease, I guess, is what I'm trying to explain. when I get into doing paintings or bigger projects that I'm really trying to tell a big story on, or I'm trying to get something out of my system and it's very cathartic, it's a very personal experience, these I like to just listen to YouTube or music or, something on the TV, and I can kind of just zone out into it. It's a very fluid process. And so for me, it actually, even though it looks very detailed and very like it would be stressful, it's not, because I don't worry over where the lines are going. I'm just playing. I'm just in the zone and I'm creating. So for me, it's like therapy. So who doesn't need some of that on a regular basis, right? So that's what you'll see with a lot of my stuff, even like in my coloring pages that I have in my Etsy shop. That's where all of those came from. So, it's these like kind of doodles and art that just sort of expanded on itself, and now it's out there in the world. So for me, it doesn't feel like I'm sitting down struggling to create these things. It's actually therapeutic for me. So that brings me to my even bigger point, and this is why I think I'm actually really excited about this and why I'm willing to do this. If you don't know, I work for a nonprofit arts organization. So that's where I teach. That's my day-to-day job. And so you can imagine it's not like paying the world, but I love what I do because I believe in art being for everyone, in art being important. And when I say art, I don't mean just fine art that you see in galleries, which I have hilariously abbreviated to FART, just because I had some weird gallery experiences. So that's the joke with me and my kid. We're making FART, right? Fine art. Taping a banana to the wall and calling it worth $1 million kind of thing. So just something to distract you for a moment. But I do believe that the arts are everywhere, right? Everything, the things, the shelving we have in our homes, the basket, all of the things around us, the clothes that we wear, someone designed that. Someone had to make it. There are creative things. And I know we live in a very mechanized world, but ultimately, somebody had to design it first. An artist designed it. Someone creative came up with the ideas. And that's what I always try to instill in the kids that I teach, in the adults that I teach, and that everybody has some level of creativity. And I also believe that everyone should be able to enjoy and appreciate art and embrace their creativity, expand their creativity, and that people should be able to have those things in their homes and in their spaces. People should be able to have handmade things and original art hanging in their homes. And by no means am I like saying artists should devalue their work, because I don't want anybody getting upset on that. I'm not saying that some artists are overpriced. I am not saying that by any means. I do believe in getting paid for what you do and being able to make a living. But I do love things like this as well. If someone can have an original piece of art for $5, and then maybe they can just have that experience of having something that an artist created, then I think that's wonderful. And I think just the interaction of that, the sense of community in that, and even the sense that maybe it gets someone a little less intimidated by what the word art means, right? And again, like, I don't think I finished my thought. I think I went around the world. But when I say the arts, I mean everything from visual art to dance, to theater, to acting, to design, to like ceramics, to soap making, to, and if you don't think that's an art, have you seen some of the things people are posting on Instagram? Like, all of these things are creative endeavors that are a form of art for someone. So I think the more that we can embrace those things and share those things in a way that everyone can find it accessible, I think that will make a better world. And I really do believe that, because it's not just about the things that we've been taught that art and fine art are and why they're important. I think it's important on many levels. And so I love the idea of being able to give myself some therapy and create some consistency for myself, and that someone will have an original piece of art that they can enjoy, hopefully, and just like be proud that they have an original piece of art. And even in my own business, in my shop, I'm trying to work toward ways that I can maybe make some prints of my artwork and make things a little more accessible. I know times are really hard right now. I'm feeling it. I know we're all feeling it. Like, you know, things are just getting more and more expensive. And so again, I don't think that having something beautiful in your home should be something that's only for the over wealthy, the overly, the elite, and the few, right? I think that it's something that should, and on some level, be accessible to everyone. Again, I'm not, don't go beating down artists who have $1,000 price tags on their art. It's very legitimate. And I'm not saying that I will never have that. In fact, I do right now in a gallery, but I'm also saying I want to be able to have things like prints and other things, or even smaller original artworks, so that it doesn't seem like such an us and them, like the art world and artists are such a weird bunch of bougie people. So that's a huge reason why I'm doing this. I hope that made sense. Kind of went all the way around the world with that, but I think it's a great opportunity. I think it's a wonderful way to put your art out there. So if you're looking at it from like a business marketing standpoint, you know, it's a great promotional tool because your art could be anywhere. I find that exciting. It could be all over the US. It could be, you know, and that's kind of fun. But I wouldn't bank on that turning into sales. I think building the sense of community around it is really more fun for me on this aspect, right? So yeah, as I'm working on this, like stay tuned. As soon as I have these 50 pieces done and mailed out, I will let you guys know and keep you posted on the whole process. And if you do end up finding an Artomat with one of my pieces in it, you can tag me on Instagram. I'll put my Instagram up here above my head somewhere, and I would love to see where it is, because I think that's really exciting and fun. So you guys let me know in the comments too, if you are an Artomat artist, what your experience has been, or if this is something you're thinking about doing now. And I'm happy to I'll put the website and all the information down below too, in case you want to check it out for yourselves. So you guys go out, go forth, be creative. I'll see you soon.